What's up, guys? Austin here, aka the Crypto Siphon, coming at you with another episode. Man, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. What a huge victory for Bitcoin today. I mean, this has been insane. Finally, the head and shoulders pattern that we've been talking about for so long has been validated. We made a massive breakout. I'm going to talk about what's the target for this head and shoulders pattern. What do I think we're headed in the next couple of days? And, I'm sure people have some concerns. Is this just a pump and dump? We're just going to, rise a few $100s and come straight back down. So all that coming up, guys. Stay tuned.
They'll understand you soon, it won't be long. Keep on, keep running.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's get straight to the charts. For those of you who haven't been paying attention today, I don't know how you couldn't, but I definitely was. I know a lot of you probably were. Man, Bitcoin finally validated that head and shoulders pattern. We had a very large pump today, roughly a little over $700. So we went from 6,700 all the way up to, I want to say, almost $7,500. Man, that's crazy. That is awesome. Such a huge victory for Bitcoin, guys. I've been waiting for this for like a month now at least. So for those of you that have been following me, I don't know if you're following me on my Twitter. If you're not, I definitely encourage you to do so. I give regular updates on there just about every single day, and I give real-time updates for the market. And I've been talking about this head and shoulders pattern for so long. So we finally validated it. We broke the neckline, we broke our resistance line, and now we're at our next resistance point. So I'm going to go over exactly what I was seeing today earlier. So this morning when I got up, I saw that we're trending around this area, and I noticed that we had a very large volume profile here, which is going to serve as pretty big resistance. That means that there's a lot of trading going on in this area, a lot of selling, just a lot of volume that's going to come in here, and it's going to be a lot of pressure for us to get over this. So if you paid attention to my Twitter, I put a post on here and saying that we had 3 targets that we're looking for, guys. The first target for us was to break this resistance line here, the red line that you see, which is at about 67.35-ish. And we broke that with flying colors. As soon as I saw that this morning, I think I posted that at like 7 o'clock in the morning, or actually even before that, I think it might have been like 6:30 in the morning, and we were just about to touch that line. So I was surprised. I didn't really think that we would break it today. I was kind of expecting maybe another day or two of kind of just floundering around in the 6,700, 6,600 area. But man, we really just went for it today. So our first target was to break this red line, which we did. And then as soon as we got to our major resistance, which this is the 18-hour chart, guys. I kind of like to use some charts that are between the 24-hour and 12-hour. Kind of gives a good idea of what's going on. This is the 100-day exponential moving average, and it just happens to coincide with exactly the neckline of our head and shoulders pattern. So I knew that was going to be a major point of resistance, guys. This is major resistance, and it is huge that we were able to break it, especially so quickly. I mean, I really didn't expect it to happen that fast. But we had our resistance here. It's around 68.50, I'm going to call it. We broke that, and as soon as we started testing this and we broke the 67.35 line, and we were testing the 100-day moving average and the neckline where this arrow is, I knew for a fact that things were getting serious, and the market was going to make a serious push to break that neckline. And as soon as we broke that, guys, it was like fireworks went off. We got a huge freaking candlestick, looks like a celery stick, just sticking up here, going straight up to like $7,500. I mean, all this happened within probably like an hour and a half, something like that, maybe even less than that. And not to, brag or anything, but everything here went almost exactly according to plan. If you look at my Twitter, you can see that. I mean, we hit the red line, we hit that resistance point, we hit the neckline, and then we stopped almost exactly on the 200-day moving average on this 18-hour chart. And I knew that we would stop there because that's going to be a large point of resistance for us. But things are looking good, guys. I think we're looking very bullish for the moment. For those of you wondering what our next target is, I'm going to pull up my other chart here. No, not that one. Here is my original chart for those of you who've been following my videos for a while and my Twitter. This is the potential falling wedge that I've been talking about for quite a while now, for probably almost months. Even before I started making videos, I've been talking about this falling wedge, guys. And so far, we've been following it pretty perfectly. To the point where it's like, just like today, it's following it so perfectly, it's starting to freak me out a little bit. You know, typically things don't go exactly according to plan. There's always, you know, a little bit of a monkey wrench thrown in there. But we've been following it really, really well. So for now, we've had a massive pump. I do think that we're going to get, you know, a bit of a bull flag here. I think we'll start making a bull flag. Let me pull the hourly chart here. It looks like we're actually going for a little higher. That's interesting. I'm thinking that we'll probably make a nice little bull flag here, guys, just like you see. You know, we'll probably... It almost looks like a pennant right now, but I'm not going to say we're going to go for it just yet. You know, it's just really too early to say, to be honest with you. For all we know, it might be we might be looking at something like this, guys. But I'm expecting some consolidation for a while. I'm really not worried. Even if we were to have a flag that was something like this, guys, I'm honestly not that worried about it. I think that we would easily break out. There's so much momentum coming up here from this breakout, and I think that we will easily reach our next target. And our next target for this head and shoulders pattern, I talked about this a while ago, is roughly $7,800. So take this here, take that to the neckline, take that right at the breakout, and boom, there you go. Roughly $7,800. Now, that's just one way to look at a target, guys. The other way to look at this target here, which I have laid out right here, if you notice, this target coincides almost directly with, on the daily chart, which is a little bit more significant than the 18-hour, guys. It almost coincides directly with the 200 moving average. Right now, we stopped on the daily chart at the 100 moving average, which is to be expected. So far, everything's going exactly how we thought it would. But more than likely, we'll make a bull flag and we'll make a push towards the 200-day moving average. Now, another reason why I'm pretty confident that we'll get there, for those of you who follow my videos, I'm a huge fan of Fibonacci. And not only that, I really like the 50% Fibonacci retracement point. So the 200-day moving average on the daily chart, exponential moving average that is, coincides directly with my favorite, the 50% retracement mark on the Fibonacci, guys. So that's another indicator that leads me to believe that we'll more than likely see that. Typically, the market likes to retrace to the 50% mark. So that's something else that leads me to believe that. And another thing that I'm looking at here is if you take your trend, let me see here. If we take our Fibonacci and we do a the trend-based fib extension, I almost forgot what it's called, and we align that. So exactly how I do that, guys. Take our trend-based fib extension, take it all the way down. No, that's not what I meant to do. Come on. Okay. Okay. Nope, did that wrong. Here, here, and there. Okay. So our trend-based fib extension lines up pretty well with, I think I took that from the wrong point, didn't I? Yes, I did. No wonder I'm confused. There we go. Sorry, guys. Our trend-based fib extension lines up very well with the 161.8 retracement mark. Now, I'm a big fan of the 50% retracement mark, but the market in very bullish scenarios will retrace to the 61.8 mark. Now, Typically, when you're doing this kind of trend-based fib extension, you want to go for a 1-to-1 ratio. We've broken our 1-to-1 ratio, which is exactly at 7,116. Now, I think it's, 7,125 actually. Anyway, so the 161 retracement mark lines up almost perfectly, once again, surprise, surprise, with our $7,800 mark. So all signs right now are telling me more than likely we will see the $7,800. We will make a push for it. Now, don't be surprised, guys, if we retrace a little bit. It's only natural for the market to pull back after having such a large pump. Typically, markets will even retrace to their supports very often after having a decent pump. So our support area, you know, this was what was previously resistance, guys, at $6,800 mark, you know, 68 to whatever, 68.50 was previous resistance. That's going to be a major support for us. Seeing how it was such a ridiculous resistance for us that we just could not pass. I mean, we tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost, you know, roughly 6 or 7 times to break that, and we just couldn't do it. And that's what led us to making this head and shoulders pattern. But I'm going to say that roughly, if the market retraced, it wouldn't surprise me if we even retraced all the way down to the 7,000 mark before we made another push up. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But seeing as how we have so much bullish momentum, we'll probably make a small retracement, maybe to 7,100, 7,200, consolidate for a while, and then make a nice decent push up to the 7,800 mark. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Is that it? Is that all we have? Is this just a pump and dump, you know, because of all the bullish news we've been having? That is something that I don't think is the case right now. Originally, I thought that we may just have a nice little run up and then have a very large correction back down, you know, somewhere all the way back down here. Actually, let me show you guys. I apologize if I'm confusing the hell out of you guys. So this is our falling wedge that we've been following. It wouldn't, originally I thought that we would pump up just like this. I didn't think we'd do it so quickly, but we did. And after that, I was thinking that maybe we would see a pullback all the way down somewhere in here to 5,200, which honestly, guys, look, I'm not sitting here telling you that after this pump that's it, you know, the bull market's in and we're just going to go up all the way to the moon. I'm not necessarily saying that.
The moon. Yes, I said it. The moon. Can't be distracted. What's going on with the war? What's wrong with the economy? Stop worrying about that. I got that under control. Just focus on space, nigga. The United States of space. Because I ain't stopping at the moon. Write this down. M-A-R-S, Mars, bitches. That's where we are going. Mars.
Because that doesn't mean that, guys. The market's going to do what the market's going to do, and you just have to take it as it comes, guys. We have to just read things as they are. For now, they're looking really bullish. We are very, very bullish. But until we break some other major resistance lines, for now, a large correction could happen. I don't think it's likely at the moment, but it could happen. But this is, let me lay this out for you and tell you exactly what I've been thinking. So we came down, obviously, from our all-time highs. We started making this falling wedge, right? And we've been following it practically perfectly. So this is kind of the scenario that I've been thinking in my head, and there's several scenarios, guys. I don't want to just say that there's only one scenario and that's it. I mean, you really, doing technical analysis isn't about just having one point of view and sticking with it. You really have to read the market as it gives you information. You have to process the data as it comes. So we've made a nice little pump up, and more than likely, yes, we will hit our 7,800 mark, which is right around here. My only question is, I don't have enough data to say if we're going to be able to break this downtrend. We really just have to see a lot more bullish momentum and volume come into the market, which is entirely possible, guys. But what seems more likely to me at this moment is that we come up here and then we see a decent correction. I'm going to delete these real quick, guys. And then we see a decent correction. And what would be really healthy, in my opinion, is to come up here, hit our downtrend line, get rejected, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, come back down to our new major support line, okay? And then after that, break out. And even then, even if we have a breakout, we might break out to, let's see here, where's our major resistance point, which would probably be right about, here, guys, right where this high volume profile is. So anywhere between 8,100 to 8,500 would probably serve as pretty major resistance. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right here. So this kind of seems like a more likely scenario. And in that scenario, we hit this, maybe we hit some major resistance, come back down, you know, and try again. And then we see a very large uptrend, testing 10,000 first, then testing our highs previously back in March, you know, or February, excuse me, for 11, 12, you know, somewhere around $12,000. That's the very bullish scenario, guys. Honestly, I'm not a perma bull, I'm not a perma bear, but I see a lot of not only bullish momentum, but the news, guys. You got to pay attention to the news. I know I mean, oh God, there's so many people who just continuously say, you know, like before this pump, you know, I'm sure now everyone's going to change their tune magically, but everyone just kept saying, oh, we're going down to 3,000, we're going down to 2,000, there's even analysts that are saying we're going down to $400. Guys, that's ridiculous. Stop listening to them, please. Just stop listening to those guys. Yes, can the market do that? Can Bitcoin go all the way down to $500? Yeah, anything is possible. Sometimes markets do things you would never expect. But, guys, it's so unlikely right now. Doing technical analysis is not about, you know, the probabilities, guys, necessarily. It's about what's likely. And it's not likely that that's going to happen. More than likely right now, we are in a bullish scenario. We're in a bullish falling wedge, and we've been respecting it pretty well. So I know everybody loves to jump on the bear train. I don't know what it is. People just love negative sentiment. I don't get it. You know, trust me, when there's bear flags and there's, you know, bearish sentiment in the space, you know, fine. I'll become a bear for as long as I see it on the charts. But that doesn't mean that I think, you know, Bitcoin is dead. That doesn't mean I think crypto's dead. There's just no way. There's too much bullish news coming out from the media, you know? I mean, just take a look around. I know I'm ranting a little bit, but I mean, it freaking fires me up, man. That people, you know, Coinbase, for instance, now Coinbase can legally put securities on their exchange. That means they can list Ripple and any other thing else that could be considered a security. We have BlackRock, who just came out and said that they're investing in cryptocurrency. We have Korea trying to get in the space. We have Japan, one of the largest banks or institutional investment firms, that is going to be making their own exchange, and they're claiming that they're going to be the biggest exchange in the world by the end of 2018, guys. And that is literally just a few stories that have been coming out in the past couple weeks. I mean, there's so many that I can't even name all of them. So, guys, it's just, I don't really see that as likely right now. Yeah, we were in a downtrend for quite some time. Yes, this was a very heavy downtrend. And you know what? It kind of goes along with the saying, you know, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you should be greedy, right? Because everyone is scared. Everyone's calling for $3,000. Everyone's calling for, you know, $4,000, $1,000, scaring the hell out of everybody, you know, and really, there's not necessarily evidence that's going to back that up. I mean, honestly, it's possible. It could happen. But according to the charts, that necessarily wasn't going to happen. I didn't see that scenario. And I don't really know how you can come to that conclusion at this moment, to be honest. Even before this large pump from our Head and Shoulders guys, I don't see how people are coming to that conclusion. Anyway, sorry for ranting, guys. If you guys liked the video, hit the likes, subscribe. I'm just, man, God, I'm getting myself all worked up. But seriously, it's kind of really pisses me off. Anyways, let's get back to it. So that's a scenario I see. There's other scenarios that could happen. You know, yes, we could see something like this and then see a very large rejection and, you know, make our way down, which if this falling wedge is respected and we are in this falling wedge, guys, yeah, this scenario here is possible. I don't see it as entirely likely at the moment, but it is very possible. And I will say that it could happen. And, you know, this is more likely than us falling down to $2,000, okay? But I see us being in this large falling wedge, guys, and I think that right now Bitcoin is looking extremely bullish. I see a lot of bullish indicators. I see a lot of bullish signs. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I mean. And this is the things you have to pay attention to. I know I've mentioned this before, but these are just the little clues that we take in, you know, we take in the back of our mind, and we kind of see what the market is telling us. So right now, just for starters, the RSI on the daily is right at about 65. We haven't seen 65 on the RSI since, Jesus, what is that? Since April 24th. Guys, it's been months since we've seen that. And before that, we hadn't seen that we haven't seen 65 or 66 on the RSI. And this is in a downward trend and an upward trend, let's just say, since like November of last year. Good God. So right here, guys, I mean, look, this is how long it's been. It has been so long since we've seen the RSI at this level on the daily chart. If that's not a sign for you that, you know, the market is the trend is reversing, then I don't really know what is. That is just one sign you got to take into consideration. But that's a very, very big sign, guys. And that to me kind of tells me that we're changing gears here. Now, the other thing is, I've been paying attention to this for a while now, is on the MACD, we've been steadily making higher highs. I personally drew this just like this, but even from our fall at 64, 6,500, the MACD has been respecting this uptrend line, if you notice. Now, you can draw it like that, or you can draw it like this, however you want to. But regardless, the MACD has been respecting that uptrend line that we've been seeing since our last, you know, low at about 6,500. So that's another sign I'm taking into consideration. Couple that together with our falling wedge. Couple that together with our bullish divergence on the RSI on the daily chart, guys. I mean, I can even look at the weekly chart here. Look at the weekly chart, guys. I know it's going to get all screwed up and it's going to look retarded. But look at this, guys. We've been in a steady, technically, on the MACD and the histogram, okay? The histogram has been ticking upwards in the exact same, just like what I said. Let's zoom in here. This is the low at 64, 6,500. We have been technically in an uptrend on the histogram, on the weekly chart, ever since 6,400. You guys understand that? So even though we've seen lower lows in the price, okay, we've went all the way down to 57, 57.75, and yet the histogram on the weekly chart has continued to tick higher. Okay, so these are the things you have to pay attention to, and this is what makes me think, like, you know, where are these people getting these ridiculous predictions of them saying we're going to, you know, below 5,000 somewhere, you know, going 3,000, 4,000, 2,000. I just don't understand. I know a lot of people were saying that this pattern was potentially, sorry, let me just close this. Looks like crap. Was potentially, you know, a descending triangle, which I think that's actually a legitimate argument. I'm not going to refute that. However, though, if that is the case, if this was a descending triangle, guys, I mean, look at this. Here's the thing. That would mean that Bitcoin would be minus $500, guys. That is not even, that's not possible. So sometimes in markets, they will form shapes and patterns that are very large patterns that will be in the negative technically when you give the targets for them. So they're not valid, guys. I don't see this pattern as a descending triangle. I just don't see that. There are too many bullish fundamentals, number one, for Bitcoin that are coming out. And number two, I just don't see that pattern as valid. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I'm not a magician, guys. I don't know exactly 100% what the market's going to do. But from what I can see, I see a bullish scenario, excuse me. I see that, we've been respecting this downtrend or this falling wedge for quite some time, and we're continuing to respect that. So until I get anything else from the market, until I get any other clues from the market that, Bitcoin's going to tank and we're going to see ridiculous lows, then I can't really say that's going to be the case. For now, we've made a serious pump. We've gone up $700 today. I believe that we will see our target. I'm fairly confident that we'll see our target of $7,800. What happens after that? I can't say exactly. Would be great if we finally broke out of this falling wedge. If we did break out of this falling wedge, that would be huge, guys. That would be huge for the market. That would be a massive, massive win for the bulls, and I think that could be the start of the next bull cycle, guys. I think it's probably going to take some pretty good news, a catalyst of some sort to really get that to happen. But you know what? For all I know, we could already be in that trajectory to do that. So either way, guys, I see this as bullish. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to go over with you. I kind of want to educate you guys a little bit. I know I've been ranting on for a little bit, but I just want you guys to know something. There's a lot of analysts out there who will just go on their Twitter and go on their videos, and they just basically give all these targets out, and it's not very clear of how these guys get, number one, the target, and number two, how do they even know to enter a trade? I know I went over this briefly before in one of my earlier videos. I'll even post a link to this at the end of this video. I want you guys to know exactly what I'm looking at and what you can do. If you guys have TradingView, it's a free website. Just go on there and sign up. You can use all these indicators. I think it's only 3 or 4 if you are in a free account, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. So I've mentioned this before, but I want you guys to understand something. This, number one, when we came down here, I've been preaching this for so long that it's like I feel like a broken record. But this is just something you guys can take in mind that will make your trading that much better. When we started coming down, guys, the price was coming down. Okay. The RSI was making higher lows. Very, very significant, in my opinion. Okay. That is one of the first things that I look at is higher lows. I'm on the 18-hour chart. You can use the daily chart. It doesn't really matter. But in my opinion, I think the 18-hour chart kind of gives you an advantage. Not everybody uses it, and I've had a lot of success with it. So, you guys use that at your own discretion. But, excuse me. As the price went down, we came all the way down here at $6,122. Okay? The RSI went all the way down to 22. Now, price continued to go down. We saw, a small reversal. And we made what was basically, some call it a bear flag. I'd call it a rising wedge. We made a rising wedge, and the price dropped off, right? Even though the price dropped off, and this time we went down to $59.50, so at a lower price, once again, the RSI still made a higher low. Okay? Once again, we made another drop. Okay? This time, we made a drop towards 57.83, even lower. Once again, RSI, higher low. That was right here. Right there. Then, a few days later, we made a rise up. Let me not pass over this. This massive, okay. Take note of this, guys, too. Let me see if I can get it to do it here. It's the volume. Okay. This massive pin bar candle right here is a huge rejection candle. And that, to me, is what was like a light bulb going off in my head. And I was like, holy crap. You know, wow. Okay, there are some serious buyers in this market that do not want the price to go below this. Okay. Immediately I thought that could be a bottom right there, but I wasn't for sure. It's not like I know exactly. It's not like I see something instantly and I know, okay, here it is, I'm gonna go for a trade, yada yada yada. Not exactly, but this is another clue. We made a higher low on the RSI, and then we got a huge pin bar candle, and look at the volume. Look at that volume, guys. Look at this. Even though we had a huge massive $700 pump, the volume here is still not as high as the volume that was right here. We haven't had this high of volume in quite a long time. Okay, that is massive volume. So, and then on our RSI, or excuse me, our MACD, we also were seeing a steady uptick right here. Okay, right there. Then I waited a few days. Okay, and what did we see? We saw a retest, a double bottom of the price, which typically happens. Then in our retest, what did we do again? We made another higher low. Even though we retested basically almost the same exact price, we made another higher low on the RSI. So if you take a look at this and you draw a trend line, guys, do you see that right there at the top? Let me make this bigger. Right there. Every time the price went lower, the RSI went higher. That is a huge indicator that we're in for a reversal in the market. Not only that, we had the histogram was ticking up. The MACD, okay, this is where we were right here. The MACD was looking for a cross. You can sometimes anticipate a cross. So this is basically where we started trending upwards. But right here, guys, of course, right here is where you can anticipate across, guys. So you take the RSI bullishly diverging, you take the histogram bullishly diverging, you see a pin bar candle, a massive pin bar candle that is, as a rejection to the downside, and then we have a possible cross on the MACD. You take all those factors together, guys, and you can tell yourself that more than likely this market is going to reverse, and that's where you get ready to make your trade. So use that to your advantage, guys. Use that to your advantage. The exact opposite goes, what in the hell just happened? The exact opposite, wow, what the, I have to fix that. The exact opposite goes for the upside. When we get up here, guys, and we start trending upwards, I know this is really confusing looking. When we get up here and we start trending upwards, when you see a lower high on the RSI, that's when you know a fairly large correction is coming, or we're getting at a top. I don't think we're going to see that at the moment. For right now, we may or may not, but I want to show you guys something. Look at this right here. Okay, so even though we got a higher high on the price, okay, right here, we're almost $10,000 on this price, like $99.50. We had a lower high on the RSI, okay? So we went up to 69 on the RSI at 9,760, whatever, $65 or so. Then we made a correction. We came downward. We stayed above our moving averages, which is, you know, technically bullish still. Give it a few days, right? Even then, you can apply this here. But typically, I like to look for an out when the market is making a significant lower high. So you'll know. So something like this, you know, is not necessarily going to be telling to you exactly. You know, that's more of a correction. But when you see the price go higher and the RSI go lower, that's when you know. So right here, if I were to just delete that, we made a higher high on the price going to 9,950 or whatever it was, except this time the RSI wasn't at 69. it was at 63. Right there, you know that more than likely the market is hitting a top, a major top. And this was almost like a double top. So that's when you know that that's probably when you should start taking your profits, and you should start, getting out, making a plan for, what's going to happen for the future, whatever you want to do. I know I ranted on for a little bit, guys, but I just want to show that to you. I want to educate you guys. My plan or my goal is to educate as many people as I can to save their capital. I mean, seriously, I'm not. I want everyone to profit in this crypto market, guys. It's not like there's just a few things that you can do to literally make your trades that much more profitable. So one last thing I wanted to point out about where we're at right now, guys. Like I said before, we're at about a 65 or 66 on the RSI. Could be a resistance for us. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we downtrended towards our last RSI resistance. Or now it's going to be more of like a support, I think, at about 58, 59, and then made another push up. So we'll see how things go. For now, guys, those are my thoughts on the market. I hope it helps you guys out. I hope it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on for the future. If you guys liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and till next time, guys. I'm trying to make my videos a little more educational, number one. I'm trying to just give better content. I know there's a lot of analysts out there that post videos every single day, and I'm not hating on them, but I don't really think it's necessary to post a video every day, because ultimately I think it can be confusing for you guys. Sometimes, they're sitting there telling you guys, today's a bear flag, and I think, there's another bear flag, and there's this, and there's that, and there's this, and it kind of just confuses the hell out of you guys. I'd rather give you a more precise target for what you're looking for, and just see what the market does over time. And typically we will, trend towards that target, whatever it is, to the upside or the downside. And I just don't want to overload you guys with too much information every single day. So hopefully you guys can respect that and you like that. Anyways, till next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.